So, there's USA Today that likes to put a nice big fat paywall on all their stories right now. So I had to go and work around to find a story that was actually put out about how the cable giants get away with gouging us for so much money on a regular basis. Well, if anybody wanted to ever ask themselves how that happens, well, they're going to find out now. Here's what we got, because this will be a quite interesting story. Buckle up. Let me tell you all about it. Now, when you get a bill that says your cable bill has arrived, you ask yourself, how much money will my cable TV company add to the bill? So imagine you have a $17 surcharge turn up on your $232.39 bill, and the company claiming it was simply passing along new mandated changes that it must pay to over-the-air stations like CBS and NBC in order to carry their signals. But it is always something. From 1996 to 2020, cable companies' prices have increased 250%, or almost 4% a year. There you go. Almost 4% a year. In this story from Poughkeepsie Journal that I'm taking it from, they say that the new utility tourist in America is your cable company, which often delivers your internet, telephone, and television channels. The triple play many may choose, but remember, you get those damn bundles that are supposed to help you with your service and help bring the price down a little bit. You think it's supposed to, but usually doesn't. Really? You ever notice that? And then this happens all the time. Now, here's what we have as why this is all happening. There are 7 cable TV companies that hold America hostage, controlling your internet and television. A near monopoly. So remember, because of the fact that all these cable companies got on to getting internet service, kept them relevant. So when the digital disruption happened, right, cable doesn't really matter. Because, they have their old boxes and they have their lines in the ground and all this kind of stuff. They have all that. But then they made sure that, as a fail-safe, if the cable services were going to go bad and streaming started to become the new thing, especially with the internet, they latched themselves on the internet. And now they make you bundle, or you have to pay big prices for it. The Congress and the courts have declared it's perfectly acceptable to have no regulations over the pricing of what is now one of the most important utilities we get into our houses and places of business. 83 million Americans live under a broadband monopoly from internet giants like AT&T. With 22 million subscribers, revenue is $181 billion. So now we have these cable and TV and internet services allowing monopolies to flourish and decline to regulate their pricing. And then they say, to be clear about content, this is an op-ed, by the way, the government should have nothing to do with controlling content, including the channels that your cable provider chooses to air. But messing with content is not the same as messing with structure. Monopoly is still illegal. After all, in the ideal business model, we need competition because, as the legend goes, it improves the quality of the product. It fosters innovation, and most of all, it controls prices. So we don't have competition like your electric utility or your water source. Utilities can make a profit, but they have to show how their money is being spent. It's regulated. They're accountable. Now, they're only accountable to the shareholders, not the stakeholders. In cable TV, at least almost 50 million Americans only have access to broadband from one of the 7 largest cable and telephone companies. And over 83 million Americans only access broadband through a single provider. And how are they able to get away with this? Why are companies like Comcast and Charter Spectrum allowed to have an absolute monopoly of over 47 million people? Well, they own the regulators and the Congress. Internet service providers and their trade associations spend more than $230 million on lobbying and political donations during the last Congress. For example, they don't want to expand cable coverage in rural areas because it costs too much. It brings too little revenue return. How do you avoid it? Buy the politicians, throw a bone here and there, knowing their buddies in the legislature will resist real reform. Cable actually outspends most industries in lobbying, including real estate and tech. Hell, I'm surprised it doesn't compete with oil or tobacco or alcohol. When you surf the net on cable TV prices, you find self-help guides on how to control costs. calling the company and treating like a car dealership by bargaining for a better deal. Yeah, just look at DirecTV and how you have to handle their bill every month. The government has the authority right now to treat cable TV companies like we treat electric utilities. Reclassify them, although it might take 3 to 4 years to get it done. But there's a whole lot more that can be said about this, but it still comes down to the fact that we want to go ahead and get the cost cut down. But either which way, people are just going to go ahead and keep doing it because they want to get out of it altogether. So why not? Because now people, more than ever, are going to go streaming anyway because that's what they want. They just don't want to worry about this anymore. And then you look at the prices of the streaming services out there for live streaming to replace all this. Well, you can look at this. You have YouTube TV, Hulu Plus Live TV, DirecTV Stream, Sling TV, and Fubo TV. You have to look for all their prices and what they're doing. But that's what you always have to do. It's kind of like how the thing is in the land of opportunity that is America. When something starts going bad, we just look for the next best thing to come up, and we go along with that. So, when network TV is just going to the dumper, cable's the next new shiny thing. So people are all about that with cable. Then it gets bloated and it gets bad and overexpensive. And all of a sudden, we're going to move to streaming now. And then eventually that will get to a certain level the same way up. But that's eventually all that's going to happen all together. It comes down to. And even the deals when it comes to YouTube TV, Sling, and others, yeah, they get up to about $65 a month. And those prices are going to stay there forever. But then some people are just not even bothered with cable altogether. So it's all those kind of things. And a lot of people out there talking about what they can do more. So anyway, I will leave it there. And I'll talk to you next time.